NHL picks for Monday, March the 9th. Welcome to PuckTime, WagerTalk TV. Andrew and Carmine look forward to a great day of games. I know we always say Monday does not have the biggest slate in the world. We got a handful of games to break down. Hopefully we can find you guys some winners. We've got some props. We've got an NHL pod. We've got all kinds of stuff for you, as well as some great promos to give you as well. And I'll tell you what, it's been kind of a win one, lose one for me. We did have some best bets over the weekend, NHL best bet and college basketball best bet, but that pretty much does nothing to compare to the run that Carmine is on. We'll bring in Carm. An unbelievable run right now for you, Carm, across multiple sports, I believe. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm excited. Kind of a crappy week because we have a couple days where there's only two games, I think, on Friday and on Wednesday. But we can use those to forecast the NHL matchups, see who's playing who, see if there's actually going to be a Montreal versus Buffalo first round of the NHL playoffs. The Red Wings are trying to spoil that. They're playing well. They're winning games. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to the game on the 27th at KeyBank Arena in Buffalo. Myself, a good buddy of mine that you've met when you were in Toronto, my buddy Joe, and Johnny Detroit and his wife, Paula, who are monster Detroit Red Wings fans. It is going to be an atmosphere, but I'm just happy about, like, Andrew, whether the Sabres do well in the playoffs or not. I'm just happy about the fact that that the fan base finally has something to cheer for. Like, looking at the images, the people in the stands, and I've gone to games where, let's say Montreal's in town. It is 70% Montreal jerseys. If Toronto's in town, 70% Toronto jerseys. It's now Buffalo jerseys because they aren't selling their tickets because they have a team that's competitive. And man, what a game yesterday. Look at this game, Andrew. 102 penalty minutes, 8-7 final, 5 fights.
Insane.
Absolutely incredible game. Sabres blow a 3-goal lead, and then Tampa blows a 2-goal lead, and the Sabres win it. Unbelievable game. 102 minutes in penalties is absolutely insane. Andrew, that doesn't compare. If you're a soccer fan, look at this stat. I had to throw this one up here. Look at this. Yesterday in Brazil, in the final of the Mineiro, the title game league, 22, I believe it is, 22 red cards in the game. 22 red cards. Most of them were players on the bench. Apparently a full-scale brawl broke out at the end of the game. Andrew, full-scale brawl broke out, and the ref just started handing out red cards to everyone.
So what happens? How many guys are on the field at once, or does that not change? Like,
No, because I think most of them were bench players, with the exception of a couple other ones, and it happened like 17 minutes into like injury time. So absolutely insane. But that Sabre game was a good one. I watched some of the Oilers game. It's funny watching the Oilers and Vegas. The announcer goes, Oilers are up 3-1. And going on the power play with 3 minutes left, and the announcer basically says, the color guy, as long as the Oilers don't allow a empty net goal, a shorthanded goal, they should be okay. And then Jack Eichel scored a short-handed goal. But
I'll tell you, Carm, there's one common theme when all of these games get out of hand and all of these games are going absolutely bonkers. It's always a team from Florida, the Panthers, or remember the Vasilevsky versus Jeremy Swayman fight? Tampa Bay. If there's any big brawls, it's Florida. These teams are winning teams. So I'm not saying fights mean wins, but toughness is really important. And I'll tell you what, that's one thing that the Sabres have. And as a Montreal Canadiens fan, I'm looking at my team saying, well, they didn't really add toughness. They've got one or two tough players. Like that looked like a playoff type game yesterday, man. Those teams are tough.
It definitely was. You know what I mean? I think Tampa Bay came in looking to stir it up because the Sabres have played some very disciplined hockey over this streak, and they just looked to disrupt them. And it worked. in blowing that lead, blowing a 3-goal lead. But the Sabres were able to just get back into the game, get focused on doing what they were supposed to be doing, and that is scoring some goals and winning the game, and they did it. So those two teams have to play one more time in Buffalo. That is going to be a fun one to watch. But for the time being, the Sabres hold the number 1 seed in the Atlantic. I thought the only way I'd be saying that in March on this show would be if I was on a bender from the night before and I still hadn't sobered up. That's the only way I would think I would ever be talking about the Sabres being in first place at this point. But for myself, guys, the last 7 days, I don't want to turn this into a Prez kind of thing, but the last 7 days since Monday of last week, 17-3-3 across all sports, 11-1-1 in the NHL. It's been a phenomenal run for me, and I just want to keep it going. So let's try and keep it going. I have a 5% play up for tonight, but we'll discuss that one later because we have some games to talk about, Andrew, and let's talk about the LA Kings and the Columbus Blue Jackets. 141 for the Jackets. Is this a little disrespect, Andrew? I get it. The Jackets are playing well, but the Kings are a pretty good road team. Plus 114, and they're still in this playoff race, especially with Vegas having dropped pretty much every game since the Olympic restart. They won the game in LA, and then they did battle back to win a game. That was a huge 2 points, it looks like now, where they beat the Red Wings in OT. How are you playing this one?
Man, I get it. Like, it could be disrespect, or we could look at it as respect. We have to ask ourselves, which do we want to look at, glass half full or the glass half empty? Because if it's a glass half full, then we could say this is a respectful number for Columbus. But if it's half empty, this is a disrespectful number towards the LA Kings. Look, this Columbus Blue Jackets team, I don't want to compare them to Buffalo because Buffalo is obviously first place in the division, Carm. So I'm not going to do Buffalo like that. But the way that Columbus has been able to kind of turn themselves around in a matter of like a month and a half has been so impressive. But the cool thing about this team is that they haven't been able to just pull themselves around in one facet of the game. Like, I'm looking right now, Jet Greaves projected to start, save percentage, last handful of games, 908 at home. Last 3 games, 911 save percentage at home here. Saves per game at home, 25.4. Goals against average per game at home, 2.56. Last 3 games, 2.33 goals against average. And the expected goals against was 3.53. So he's playing above his means. And as far as this team is concerned, their offensive play has been great, but their defensive numbers have actually been what's been impressing me the most. So I'm going to go with a different angle here, Carm, and I'm going to go LA Kings team total under. They made a couple trades. You pick up some guys, you lose some guys. I think they made some calculated decisions with their trades. Like, they didn't, I don't think, like, sell the farm, but they also had to make a couple of decisions here. But I'm going to go with LA under 2.5 goals at plus 115. We'll get rid of the minus 141 on the Columbus side. And, I typically take these team totals over. This time around, we're going to go with a team total under. Many people probably think about Columbus right now and they think just about offense. But when I look at them, I'm seeing really good metrics defensively and especially in goal from both their goaltenders. So we'll see, Carm, what this LA Kings team can do. But I'm going to look for a good game out of Columbus. And I do slightly lean towards the under overall as well in the game.
Yeah, it is a shame because we talk about good old Mo and having momentum on your side. It's a shame that they blew that lead to the Canadians 3-2 in the third period to lose that game 4-3 and not get any points out of that. And of course, Slavkovsky gets a couple of goals. I wanted him the other night when he was like almost 3-1 odds.
Yeah.
It is just, this is the road trip that makes or breaks, I think, the LA Kings when you look at it, because you look at this team has the fourth best record in the Western Conference on the road this season, behind Dallas, Colorado, and Minnesota. Three very good teams. They have the fourth best road record, arguably a better record on the road, picking up points in, I think, 3 of their last 5. But you look at this road trip, and this is what they have. They have Columbus tonight, which is a great, if you can get off to a win, it's a great way to start the trip. Then they're on a second of a back-to-back tomorrow night. They get the Bruins, then they get the Islanders, the Devils, and the Rangers before returning home to face the Philadelphia Flyers. So I would think 3 wins on this trip would be good, 3 of 5, but 4 of 5 puts them smack dab in a playoff race, because we're running out of games. So you have to go a little higher than, I think, 600 as far as your win percentage if you want to get into the race. They're still there. They have some games in hand, but these are the ones you need to win. I'm going to take them to win tonight. We're getting plus money on the Kings team that plays well on the road, coming off a home loss. And you always want to win that first one on the road. So I'm going to take the Kings plus 114 in this one.
All right, we're sort of mono, but if it's 2-1, then we can be both winners, as long as they don't get more than 2 goals. Overall, Carm, your feeling with the total, if you have one, like I know you said you like that side, the dog, but do you see this being a grinded out battle a little bit, like a goaltending?
I think so. I think so. I don't think the Kings at this moment can get into games in which you're going up and down the ice. I think they need to play a little bit better. I think that's what hurt them against the. I think that's what hurt them against the Montreal Canadiens. Obviously, taking a penalty with about 5 minutes left hurt them as well too in that one. Once the Canadiens got the tying goal, it's a completely different game. Montreal always finishes games strong, so you just don't want to give them any chance to get up off the ground, and the Kings did that. I think it's one of those correlation ones. I think if the Kings win, it's got to be one of those 3-2 type of games, 3-1 type of games. They're going to have to play extremely well tonight. Jack Greaves had a great start to the season. I haven't really looked at his numbers as of late. Darcy Comfort has to be good for them tonight. They have to play well. I still have hope in this Kings team, and maybe that's just because a little bit has to do with the fact that if the Kings play a little bit better, maybe the Vegas Golden Knights don't make the playoffs. And it's nothing against the Vegas Golden Knights, just because I have a play at plus 1,500 on the Kings or on the Golden Knights to miss the playoffs. So I was happy about last night's score, and we'll see. There's a long way to go. The Pacific is open, Andrew. The Ducks are in first place. The Oilers are in second, and now Vegas is in third. It is wide open still. Even the San Jose Sharks, those San Jose Sharks with the games in hand, are not out of the playoff race.
Yep. But that's the problem. It's like I said last week on the show, a lot of those teams in that division that are in a playoff spot right now, if they were in the Eastern Conference, they wouldn't even be in a playoff spot. So I like your bet, but that's the only tough issue, is that, to your point, even if Vegas keeps losing, you also need these other teams to start winning. It's like Vegas has built a comfortable lead a little bit but as you mentioned, you've got teams knocking on the doorstep. So, and this begs the question for us as well, Carm. Maybe every day or every couple of days, me and you try and find some draw bets. I know a couple of guys in the chat right now, Terry and Perlo and some other guys, like to bet the draws, and we're getting towards that draw season. I know there's certain guys like Alex B. Smith and Ian Cameron and them that they bet that almost every day, but we're getting to that time of year where teams are playing for points, Carm. And that Montreal versus LA game you're talking about, I thought for sure when Slavkovsky tied it up, it was going to go to overtime. And then 2 minutes later, Nick Suzuki scores and adds to that lead there with it. So I think that you're going to see some matchups where both teams are tied up with 3 minutes to go, and they sing Kumbaya and let's both get 1 point.
Yeah.
Let's get 1 point, and especially if you're not in the same division, right?
Dude, I've seen it all. I remember, and I'm going to go back to like soccer. I remember in the World Cup, Italy playing Mexico in a group stage game in which if it finished with that score line that they were at, that both teams advanced to the knockout stages. And they basically, there's even like that cartoon on The Simpsons. There's a meme where you just see them. They're in the middle of the field and they're just kind of passing the ball around like it's a warm up
Yeah.
for 2 minutes. They're just passing around. Nobody's attacking. No one's trying to score. They're just passing the ball around to keep it in play. And for the ref to blow the whistle, the official to blow the whistle and end the game. So it happens. It is. I saw the Kings do it a few years back where they needed a point to make the playoffs, and it was like their sticks were turning into sawdust. If they were still out of wood, they were holding them so hard. They just kept dumping a puck, getting it over the red line, dumping a puck, and sitting back, 5 guys trying to stop the opposition from getting into their zone. They got the game to overtime, made the playoffs, and went on, I think, to lose that game. So we've seen it before. There's parts of hockey that we like. There's parts of hockey that we don't like. I remember for the last one before we get to this Utah-Chicago game, the Devils with the neutral zone trap. The Philadelphia Flyers once with the puck in their own zone just stood there, the defenseman with the puck for about a good 60 seconds because New Jersey had set up the neutral zone trap and he basically was waiting for them to come into the zone and try and get the puck off of them. It's not hockey, but it is what it is. So,
and worth noting, Carm, for people out there, worth mentioning, this will be the second straight Monday where we have an early game in the day. So that Columbus and LA game, 4:07 Eastern time. Is that right, Carm? 4:07 Eastern time, I believe it's lined up as. So who doesn't love that? I tell this to you every time, Carm. I'm jealous that you are handicapping a sport on a daily basis, that you get to watch some games during the day. I've got a buddy here where I live from the UK. He loves, just getting off work and getting to watch the Premier League or Champions League. So, hey, maybe hockey's going to start giving us some afternoon games. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever.
Once the playoffs start, we'll have it. And Saturdays and Sundays have afternoon games. But once the playoffs start, we'll be seeing those some earlier games, hopefully. Plus, March Madness is right around the corner. So for you guys who need the fill on basketball, I'm not a basketball guy. I do watch it. I will occasionally bet it when Dan Alexander or one of the other guys gives me some hot tips, Joe Ranieri. I'll bet them. But for the most part, I'm focused on some other stuff. Let's talk about Utah and the Chicago Blackhawks here. Another good one. The price on this one, Utah is really getting some money there. Minus 203 on Utah, plus 165 on the Chicago Blackhawks at home, minus 110 both ways on the total of 6. Andrew, how are you taking this one?
Yeah, I think this is a matter of how much do you care about the back-to-back situation when it comes to this game. How much does it bother us that Chicago's going to be playing the back-to-back? We obviously have 2 hefty favorites sort of to start off this show here, Carm. It's kind of the theme a little bit of the day. The closest number we really had was that Columbus one, but it got shot up from the opener. Looking at this game, you've got this Utah team that's playing extremely well offensively. A lot of the numbers that I'm looking at show really good signs for them. But when you look at it as well, both teams actually aren't like creating a ton of high danger scoring chances. The Chicago Blackhawks, especially, despite coming off that 4-3 game, their numbers kind of suggest that we should see some offensive aggression and should be seeing some unders when it comes to them. Now, one thing that we have seen, we've talked about this quite a bit, is they put their backup goaltender in the first half of the back-to-back against Dallas. So now they set up Spencer Knight in the second half of back-to-back against the Utah Mammoth. Carm, I know it's weird to give out a play when I don't have odds for this yet, but I'm going to be looking probably at a Spencer Knight saves prop. Utah, they're not having a ton of shots on goal per game right now. They're not overwhelming you by any means, but their offense is still surging. They're still creating a ton of chances. Their possession numbers are there. And I think that they're going to absolutely pepper Chicago tonight. And Spencer Knight, well rested. He's the better of the two goaltenders. I think if Chicago has a chance in this one of even staying alive, of even keeping things close, I think Spencer Knight's save prop to the over could be a good look for me. But all things suggest that Utah is the play here. They're well rested. And if you look at the whole league from an outside zoomed out perspective, this is probably a team that's playing the best that nobody's really talking about right now. Utah's actually playing some pretty good hockey. So what do you think about that, Carm? I mean, the second half of back-to-back, you set it up so that your best goalie's there. I know that the Islanders did that with Sorokin recently. We've got Vasilevsky with Tampa. We got, all kinds of teams are doing that now. But the question it begs for me is that, hey, maybe just like I'm thinking, Chicago knows he's going to face a ton of shots. So all the tickets cash the same, as you always tell me. I think that Spencer Knight's saves prop might be my play for this game.
Yeah, the only thing I think you need to do, Andrew, as far as like those ones there is check the morning skate, because they are on a back-to-back, number one. Number two, he wasn't available yesterday. They called up from the Chicago did from their affiliate. They called up Drew Comesso, and he was the backup in goal in the last game. So it's just a matter of is Spencer Knight feeling okay? He very well might not even start tonight, and we could get an AHL goalie in net. So that's one of those ones, and probably why the line is where it is, the uncertainty. I haven't seen any confirmed goalies as of yet. Like I said, I know that Chicago did call him up on Saturday. So we'll see where it goes as far as goaltending goes. But it's one of those ones where you want to wait for the morning skate and see if he's even on the ice. If he's not on the ice, then he's not going to be playing. So a couple, I know like RotoWire shows him as expected, but their goaltenders change, on the half hour almost. You can just keep refreshing that site and seeing a different expected goalie. Normally when they go to a second expected goalie from the first expected goalie, that means that goalie is trending to be the starting goalie. So we'll see how it goes. But if there's player props up on them, they're just going to end up canceling them if Spencer Knight doesn't make it in goal. It's one of those ones where Chicago on the second of a back-to-back, they have played well. If it's not Spencer Knight in goal tonight, I'd probably look. And even if he is he going to be 100%? We don't know what the problem is with him other than illness. Illness doesn't really tell us much. So this is probably one in which you'd want to probably ride the mammoth train and look for them to get a win. Now, do you want to lay 203? Probably not. You can look at piecing it with something else, or taking them in regulation or the puck line and just splitting up to get a true -1 line.
Yeah, and that's the question. Some people in the chat, Carm, were saying, no way Utah deserves this price tag. Well, the back-to-back certainly is playing a factor in it, right? So if nobody wants to lay a number like this. So you mentioned that -1 line or first period, whatever it is, or team total stuff. Because that's really the issue, is sometimes you look at a team like Utah and you ask yourself, are they deserving of this price? But I also wonder, like Chicago, they trade away Nick Foligno. They trade away Jason Dickinson. They trade away Connor Murphy. And Connor Bedard and these guys, Carm, they looked pretty emotional in their press, in their media availability. And Bedard pretty much saying, hey, I hope this is one of the last times that we're doing this. I'm hoping they can turn the page. But we both know what happens eventually. It might not happen right away, but when a team sells off, eventually the team starts to look pretty bad. Maybe they'll have a little bit of a spark for the next game or two, but sometimes you have to just listen to what the team is telling you. And they just sold off 3 of their leaders on the team. Not really good for defense.
Yeah. No, it's not. But it's about acquiring assets. It's about getting rid of some of the salary cap and doing things that are good for your team. It is so weird because Chicago's in one of those spots where they own their own draft pick, I believe. If they finish in the bottom 5 or even the bottom 3, Andrew, they could very well win the draft again. And then you have Gavin McKenna and Connor Bedard. It could be the start of like a franchise. You know what I mean? It is something
And the top
big.
three
And then the
picks are
salary
all
cap
good.
goes up. The salary cap's going up next year, so there's more money available as well too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I would keep an eye out before anyone bets this game. I would keep an eye out on the goaltending for Chicago tonight. It is. I'm not going to say it's a must win for Utah because they're in a playoff spot right now, but it's perilous. You know what I mean? They're 4th in their division, which means that and 13 points back of, I think, Minnesota. So they're essentially vying for one of the 2 wild card spots, and the teams in the Pacific are winning games. So, you know, if teams like the Sharks continue to win, the Kings start to win, and then of course the Ducks, Vegas, Seattle Kraken, Edmonton Oilers, it could get the noose around the neck could get a little tight, or the tie, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to want to win games against teams who are bottom 3, bottom 5 in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Well, those are the games. You're exactly right, Carm. Those are the games you look back on at the end of the year and you think, how the hell did we not win that one, right? Like those are the games you look back on and you have regrets about. You might not have regrets if you lose against a really good team, but you could have regrets if you lose against one of the bottom teams. All right, let's talk about 2 teams that I think we need to figure out how we're going to be betting on or against these teams for the rest of the season. Now, the Philadelphia Flyers, Carm, how do you have this team classified right now when you think about the Philadelphia Flyers? Because looking at this number, I know guys in the chat, again, are going to say, what is this number here? And I'm looking at my odds logic screen right now. The opening number was minus 153. That was the opening consensus number. And we have seen the current price now drop down to minus 144, minus 135. So there has been some money coming in on the New York Rangers. Which direction do you think this Philadelphia Flyers team is going from now until the end of the season, Carm? Do they deserve this price tag? Because I get that feeling that New York is out of it. They're not making the playoffs, and yet they actually might still win some games. And it's almost like you're getting an absolute buy low spot money-wise every single time the Rangers play now. Am I far off here? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. You mean like prior to the Olympic break, and it's all season long. They haven't played well, but prior to the Olympic break, they had a lot of injuries. Obviously, getting Shesterkin back helps them. Getting Adam Fox back helps them. You know, they get rid of Panarin. But for the most part, the teams playing for pride, they're going to finish in last place in the Eastern Conference. That goes without a doubt. They're going to finish with this probably the second worst record in the NHL. But there are teams in which you have to figure the players want to get up for and beat, and they're teams from like their own division: the New York Islanders, the New Jersey Devils, the Philadelphia Flyers. They would love nothing better than to be the fly in the ointment and just hurt these teams, play the spoiler role. Now, does that mean they're going to go out and win tonight? No, I think the Flyers are deserving of this record since coming back from the post-Olympic break. They've only lost a couple of games. They lost the first one out of the gate against the Washington Capitals. And I was on the Caps that game and thought I got lucky because Philadelphia played extremely well in that game. And then they reeled off 3 wins. They lose to Utah 3-0. Again, another team that is playoff bound right now. And then they win their last one. And that was part of the 6-60 this weekend where I said I thought the Flyers were a live dog, even though it was a small price going into Pittsburgh and beating Pittsburgh. And they did it. It took a shootout or OT or whatever it did, but they got the win. I'm approaching this a different way, and this is going to be part of the pod later, but I'll still record the pod for you guys. I'm going with the first period. The total's here 5.5. I'm going with the first period over. And here's the reason why. The New York Rangers on the road have gone 11 straight overs on the road. They're 11-0 to the first period over on the road, their last 11 games. So you're getting a great price on them. Anywhere from -115 to -125 on the first period over 1.5. Let's see if we can cash a ticket on the first period over and make it 12 straight New York Rangers first period overs on the road.
That's a stat that I won't get in front of, Carm. That's a stat that I will not get in front of on the road with this New York Rangers team. So again, that kind of tells me though that their offense isn't really going away, and they decided to keep Trocheck. They still have a handful of guys. Are you shocked they didn't end up trading more pieces away? This New York Rangers team, I saw a quote from Vincent Trocheck before the deadline, and it's almost like he was saying he wanted to leave. He's like, I'm getting up there in age. I'm getting a bit older now. I want to win. And then they don't trade him. So maybe they can find a way to win because they still have some good players.
No, yeah, they do. I think a lot of the times it comes down to the contract that you have, the city that you're living in, the family that you have. You know, I mean, Trocheck's got a couple kids, 2 or 3 kids, and it's like uprooting your kids and taking them to a new city as well too. But he prepared his kids and talked to them about possibly getting traded. So it's a bit of a surprise. But the thing about the Rangers is, and you haven't really seen it the last couple of years, they have the pieces there, and they're probably a team that's willing to spend the money. Like you have a good goalie in Shesterkin. You have Adam Fox, who's had a down year, but the guy still is a Norris Trophy winner. What happens if they get the first pick in the draft and they get McKenna? He's not going to come in and completely turn the franchise around right off the bat. But now you you have some pieces to surround him with that Chicago didn't have. You have a Zibanejad, you have Lafreniere, you have like some other guys on that team that you can surround him with, and it's similar to almost as similar to the Celebrini thing as well too. So you go out and you get a couple more guys, and all of a sudden you're back into the playoffs. It's not a complete rebuild. It's a semi-rebuild. You got rid of a couple of guys. You lower your caps, your cap hit. You have a little extra cap money, and the great thing is, if you get the number 1 pick, he's coming in off of the number 1 draft pick salary, and not the salary that you're going to have to pay him 4 years down the line.
The rookie contract, yeah, that's always great. The rookie contract, when you can have, and if you notice too, a lot of players or a lot of teams that end up having success, like. Remember when the Colorado Avalanche won, Carm? Cale Makar was on a rookie contract. Cale Makar was only still in the first couple of years of his career in the NHL when they won the Stanley Cup. So it's always interesting when you look at that salary cap wise. My Canadians not making any moves at the deadline. You know, the only move they're going to make this year is Michael Hage from Michigan is going to be coming after the college hockey season is over. So the good news is when you add a player like that, you know how much they're making? They're making the minimum amount allowed, which is always nice for the teams to have a great skilled player like that that's not taking too much of it. So, Carm, 17-3-3. Is that right with your run? 17-3-3. 5% play up tonight for Carmine. Don't miss it, guys. Grab it. WT.buzz/CB. Look, we're here every day, Monday through Friday. 10 a.m. Eastern, sometimes 10:02 if I'm late logging in. But this is the show for us, giving out picks, promos, and of course, you guys will always get free picks for us. But Carmine's best bets, the ones he saves, the favorites, are at WT.buzz/CB. And Carm, I only say that because you literally give out a POD every day. So nobody can complain that we're not giving out enough free picks.
Yeah.
17-3-3 run, 11-1-1 NHL run last 7 days. But hey, we're giving out all kinds of free picks as well too.
It's gone well. It's like going into like yesterday, I was 16-1-3, and I went like 1-2 yesterday. I lose 2 soccer games, and I lost them in like the ugliest way possible. A goal with like 20 seconds left. The guy kicks it from like 40 yards outside the box, and it finds the smallest little area above the goalie's hands, and it turns a push into a loss. I would have much preferred the push. and then an under where a late goal made it a 2-1 game, and it went over the total instead of under the 2.5 total. So it is I'm perfectly happy with both plays. They should have got there. They didn't, but it's been an insane run. I would love to be 19-1-3, but I'll take 17-3-3. And I played the contrarian yesterday in one of the games. I played the contrarian in the Bruins game. I think a lot of people love the under in the Bruins-Pittsburgh game, and I thought the exact opposite. I thought it was a really good spot for the over, and that game finishes 5-4. So, and the total was at 6. So we'll try and keep it rolling with a play in the NHL tonight. I won't have any soccer today. There's only a couple soccer games, but I do have Champions League Tuesday and Wednesday. It is the next round of the knockout stages and some absolutely phenomenal games going on. So you're going to want to obviously take advantage of those ones that buy 3, get 3 days. If you pick that up, you had a great week with me. Speaking of great weeks, Andrew, those player prop plus money things keep on hitting, man. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, it's funny. I changed the format. Every now and then I was just doing some goal scorers, and I think we hit like 40% the last 2 or 3 days of those, and we had some plus 275s, plus 250s. And it's kind of funny because I'm trying to track the games, right? And you always appreciate, you get a message on Twitter or someone tweeting, you said, great call with the props. And this is how you know that you have to know the world is a good place too. I thought somebody was like talking trash to me. And then I was like, oh shit, we're like 4 for 6 right now. Because, the good thing about these player props is, first period doesn't matter. Second period doesn't matter. And I think I had 1 or 2 that were like empty net or third period. So today I do have 2 mini same gamers, as I've been doing for the most part. So here we go. We've got 4 picks that equal plus 872. 4 picks, 872. But the 2 games we're looking at here, Utah and Chicago, Calgary and Washington here. Look, Calgary has been involved in more overs than you guys would believe. They're scoring goals, shockingly, but they're giving up chances. All right. Alexi Protas, 1+ point. Pierre-Luc Dubois, 1+ point. That's plus 200. And in the Utah-Chicago game, 2 second-line players, both of these guys are plus money to get a point on their own. They play on the same line. If one gets a point, I think the other will as well. Peterka and Lawson Krause, both of them to get a point. So, as I always say and I always recommend, you guys can take both of these as their own parlays, plus 224, plus 200. And if you want to take them all in one, that's plus 872. I love it, Carm. We got 4 guys. As Bill Belichick would say, do your job. I need 4 guys to do their job for me. And speaking of doing their job, I will have 1 4% best bet in the NHL today. You guys can find at WagerTalk.com. Also have a college basketball play, and I have a 3% MLB spring training play. More data available. Pitchers have had more time to go out there. A little bit more information available now for spring training. Got some great resources we're using for it. So it's a great time to grab those packages, Carm. We've been talking about it, the buy 3, get 3 deal, 7-day passes. A lot of you guys that joined me with my 5% play, we didn't have success, but the next couple of days, we cashed some best bets. It's all about the long term. Carm, what do you have for us for the POD?
All right. POD, we're going back to the Rangers in Philadelphia game. I love streaks. You ride them until they lose, and then you ride them one more time to make sure that the streak has ended. But 11 straight first period overs for the New York Rangers on the road. Over 1.5, minus 115 tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. Rangers looking to play spoilers. Flyers looking to get a win and push them a little closer to that playoff line above them. They're not out of it yet. This team has not given up. Rick Tocchet will not make this team give up. So I expect a good one tonight between these 2 teams. Not a Sabres-Tampa Bay kind of game, but a good one nonetheless. First period over 1.5, minus 115 is your pod play.
There we go. First period over, 20 minutes. Carm must have plans tonight. Only a 20-minute bet. First period over 1.5 goals.
Yeah, it's other games to watch. It's a busy day on for me here. I got appointments starting. I have a Zoom call in like 10 minutes, so it's hard out on this show. Looking forward to it, guys. For those who asked, because I know some people asked about a World Cup package, our office will be putting one up on my page where you get all the World Cup plays, including 5%, any of the 5% World Cup plays. I'm looking forward to it. The World Cup's just around the corner. I'm going to be going to a bunch of games, and I will have a World Cup betting guide that will come out next month. There's still some games and still some teams looking to make it into the World Cup, and they'll play on the 26th of this month, the semifinals and finals of the qualifying to get into the World Cup, Italy being one of them. I don't get why they have to go through qualifying, but it is what it is. With that said, and they better qualify because I have tickets to Canada versus whoever wins the European playoff, which is Italy. Which would be the Italy one. So Canada versus Italy, I would love to go. I have tickets for the game. I would love to go and actually watch it and take something off my bucket list, Andrew. But with that said, a 5% playoff for tonight in the NHL. That's going to be it. So the soccer I don't like, I'll have Champions League up a little later today. And then some plays being released at 8 p.m. tonight, which will be part of Tuesday's $5 Customer Appreciation Day as well, too. Guys, so Andrew, I'll send it over to you to close it out with that deal. And guys, hit that like button. Do us a favor and drop a comment in the comment section below if you're watching this video a little later on.
All right, guys, let's win the day. Let's win the day. Carmine, 5% play. Don't buy the one play. Get this deal for him. Buy 3, get 3, 6 days for $69. Or you can get the cup-to-cup special if that's still available, Carm. You can get all of his plays for multiple sports. And look, guys, we always tell you this. If you want a sample size, if you want to get involved for multiple sports, this is a great deal. I really like this one. Some of you guys might not want to do 1 month or long term, but buy 3 days, get 3 days, 6 days for the price of $69. Let's have a great day, guys. Let's catch some tickets. Enjoy the games. Best of luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Puck Time.